everyone. I just got finished taking a refreshing shower, and yes, I put on a little bit of lip and stuff, so you know, I'm gonna look cute. I'll look cute if I can. God. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about my feelings surrounding nuance, surrounding us living in such a polarized society, and how to seek balance in times like these where there is such a radicalization in action and judgment of two existing sides within the spectrum of experience, right? So, you know, on a daily basis, we're operating in a bit of a minefield, if you want to call it that, a bit of a labyrinth even, just to make it a little less violent of a depiction or metaphor here, simile, whatever, you get it. There's always going to be something that you can find wrong in a thing. And there's always going to be something that you can find right within a thing. So there's always a case to be made, and any case can be made if you're looking for specific evidence to back it up. Now, do we exist in a court right now? Or are we allowed to simply play and enjoy? Because a lot of what we've made ourselves kind of accustomed to is having everything become work, become a duty, become a mission, become a purpose. And yes, while you know, our life is meant to be purpose-filled, where do we create joy? And when are we actively acting out against joy, against enjoyment of others? When do we feel that perhaps our mission and our purpose takes us from and steals us from our joy and enjoyment, from a lighter experience? I feel like there is a danger in taking things too seriously to the point where it becomes cumbersome for those who are observing or witnessing this action, this mission, this purpose of ours in action, right? And so that's something I wanted to bring up because particularly with women and with those of us who perhaps had less than ideal relationships with our parents, particularly with our mothers, choosing a path of challenge and strife and resisting to offer ourselves kindness, happiness, joy, peace. Understanding how we want to be nurtured by others, but not necessarily taking the time to do that for ourselves. When that, as a weakness, is naturally one of our unmet or unrecognized strengths. And in that, to take it a step further, when we are met with that as a weakness that we can alchemize into a strength, it is for the purpose of building and creating community. And as we build and create community, it is not to create a sense of xenophobia within a group structure, not to be like, I am this, and therefore we do not accept that, but to kind of magnetize and allure that which isn't part of that group into accepting it and being accepted by that group. For not everything is meant to be contained within a single structure, within a single cell for all of eternity. It's all malleable, it's all in exchange, it's all in evolution. And I feel like we get so stuck in one mode of being and one kind of facet of processing and alchemy and transformation, that we don't see all of the other, perhaps more beautiful and magnetizing ways to attract that type of change, that type of evolution that we hope to see within ourselves and therefore in the world around us. And I feel like one thing is, yes, it is extremely important for us to use our social media platforms in such a way that activates people and informs people. But I am really at a point to where we've got to, be aware of if we're creating spaces that end up becoming more of a battlefield than anything. For if we engage in war, we are also perpetuating it. And how can we create lifestyles, structures and process that sustains life as opposed to extinguishes it? What can we do to transform it and strengthen it and fortify it in new ways through our sharing of information, through our sharing of perspective, through our understanding of nuance and experience and respect for everything that is? Because what may be right in one moment may not be right the next moment. For what may be right in one section or subject or structure may not work in that other like paradigm or structure or moment. And that's what creates balance. We live in a living structure. There are things that are not black and white. There are things that are beyond any type of visible aspect or perceivable aspect of being. And so I just kind of wanted to speak on that because I feel like the more we perpetuate the concept of warring and of fighting battles, do I feel like we perpetuate that type of struggle and survival culture instead of really allowing people to thrive, to perhaps strive in order to thrive. Anyways, either way, the whole goal is to end up thriving, for all of us to thrive. But, it becomes so subtle in the ways we perpetuate the very things that we don't intend to have within our collective psyche, our collective and individual experiences. So pay attention to that. What type of energy are we cultivating? What type of systems and paradigms and narratives are we perpetuating through our actions, through our language, through the decisions we make? And when looking at it as a unified being, as a vibrational being, and stepping out of our human experience for a second to simply observe what we're doing, what others are doing, and accessing this from a perspective of, does this fit the new narrative? Has this been approached in a way that reflects a new paradigm, a new system of action and activation? And how can we persist in such a way that through our transformation of the movements, of the activation, of the activism that we take part in, creating a new way of tackling challenges and making them, alchemizing them into opportunities and into a process of unification and comprehension and collectivity. I'm just gonna say that. So I just wanted to share some thoughts on that, and if this resonates with you, awesome. Comment below. We can continue the conversation. I also wanted to say, because I got into a conversation with one of the people within my community who's been really active in some of the conversations that I've been having, which I thank you for, and I love it. I love our conversations. Let's keep them going. Even when it comes to certain quotes or concepts that are shared, for example, and really kind of arguing a point that perhaps there's like a duality or polarization within it. And sometimes also, on the other hand, just to kind of help you kind of see some of my processing like live, and in order to perhaps adapt it in such a way, but taking into account that maybe something a teacher or a spiritual person or any creative person says in order to share a piece of knowledge, a nugget of knowledge with or wisdom with the collective. Sometimes it's taken in such a way that people are put off or taken aback by it, when in all actuality they are stuck in a habit of viewing things from a point of duality, through a point of linearity, and as opposed to really seeing it from a multidimensional quantum perspective. And it goes back to that sense of enlightenment and going through the transition, allowing that light to kind of explore and cast different shadows with the object in question, with the object being observed. It's a matter of really kind of like I've said before, when you enter the realm of spirituality, of religion, of these traditions, which we're moving away from old paradigm, old tradition, and really into experience. But when we enter this space, enter this realm, the teachings meet you where you're at. And again, like when you first get in touch with that spiritual nature, or just with your nature, I won't even call it spiritual, it's just your nature, our science of being. When we first plug into that, we're still in this mode of viewing the external as having so much importance to it, of being that experience, of being the universe, and we're just kind of in it and being subjected to it. So anytime we deal with angels or different figures and all of these things outside of us, all of this storytelling with these characters and these different before you realize they're aspects of self fully, and begin to integrate that knowledge. And but it's a means to get you to a place where you begin to recognize that involvement in order to kind of weave the two together, and to recognize that connection, to recognize that symbiotic relationship between your inner and outer world. You have to first meet people in the outer world. You have to first meet people in the external world in order to bring them inside. Because if you simply just bring them inside, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's difficult for people to completely get to a place of understanding of some of the concepts of self, for they're not in a place yet where they are able to witness themselves, because they're in a habit of witnessing others, of witnessing the world around them, of experiencing the world around them. And so with certain teachings, with certain nuggets of wisdom, we meet it where we're at. We meet it from the place, from the location that we find ourselves. But, there is a path where we can perhaps tap into what that, transmission was about, and it's coming from another place. So sometimes we argue things, but it's only because we're of our point of reference. And if we can learn to move away from argument and learn to kind of be able to locate ourselves, be able to locate that transmission or where it's being broadcast from, to really be able to localize that signal, understand and comprehend that perception a little bit better, and really work through different perspectives, work through the spectrum of perception, of experience, of knowledge, then I think we can then change the ways in which we inform and communicate with others, and it can become something that is way more like, I don't want to use the word penetrating, but it really goes in and through someone in such a way that it goes in and through them, in the sense that they're able to integrate it, they're able to utilize it, it becomes resourceful to them, and then it spreads to others, and then they become, then they begin to broadcast it out as well, in order to activate that within other people. And so when we deliver a message, how are we delivering it? And are we doing it with the sensitivity that we understand, doing it with such a sensitivity that we're receptive to the ways in which we can really manage the message, manage the information in such a way that doesn't create more of what we're actually attempting to dislocate ourselves from. Because in this world of age of technology, age of information, information is communicated in many ways, and the more information we have, I feel like the less communication actually occurs sometimes. And I feel that that's kind of the universe's way of like saying, hey, we can figure out another way. Hey, we could actually maybe take some time to revise you know, this process a little bit, and elevate it, take it to a new level. And it's not a matter of, you know, second guessing yourself. It's a matter of understanding where your values are, what you stand for, your integrity, and not necessarily in an attempt to prove anything, but to redefine how our energy is exchanged, how we really process our own energy, how we transmit it out, you know, and really not interfering with the frequency itself, getting to such a point where we're keeping things as natural and as easy as possible, because through that there's less resistance. But yeah, so that's all I have to say. Hope that you enjoyed my 17 minutes. But speaking of communication, you know, and you know, you all know I really enjoyed language. You know, check out my event, the Guna Word, and last night we had our first installment of it, and it was amazing. We talked a little bit about timing, and went on some beautiful word language, multiverse tangents. It was very nice. So please, if you are interested, don't hesitate to sign up for the next one. I decided to make it a pay what you can offering. The suggested ticket sale is like around $22. So, but you automatically get the recording of it at the next day, and yeah, it's just a great way to get together and create community online, and really renovate and reevaluate the ways in which we speak and communicate and use language. It's really a practice in reclaiming language and reclaiming the technologies of communication, of energetic verbal transmissions. So I'd love to have you if you're interested in becoming a language scientist with me. I'm just being goofy. But anyways, I'll let you all go. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like my videos, please like them. Please like them. Please share them. And if you feel so called, please don't hesitate to donate so I can continue to produce this free content for you all. I really enjoy it, and I hope that you do too. So until next time,